What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Raven's Reviews, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm doing more of a sort of tips and tricks or a how-to guide of Predecessor, which is currently on a closed beta going into open beta on the PS5 and PS4. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on it. But me and my friend Kale, if you guys have been around the channel, you know Kale, he hops on and off with us for certain things. We hopped on and we started playing this game. Here, we wanted to both go bottom and support. I wanted support, he wanted bottom, but unfortunately he got voted out of bottom, so we swapped it up and I went off lane and he went mid. So he's playing Morgesh, and for whatever reason, the Severog has decided to go mid. And Severog, one, isn't a support character, which is the role he's sort of selected. Either he's selected into playing or he's been forced into playing. And two, he doesn't belong in mid lane. Severog can jungle if he's chosen the jungler role. Like, why would you jungle if you're not a jungler? He's in mid lane. He shouldn't be in mid lane. He should be in bottom with Revenant to help support, because it's a 2v1 situation over there. And as you'll see over the course of this video, Severog gets farmed early on in this game. And I just want to show you guys a bad representation of how to not play this game like this. I mean, I'm getting fucked up by the Zarus very early on, and I continue to all throughout the game. Some people will probably come at me in the comments and be like, Richter's a support character, why are you playing Richter in the off lane? And I get it, right? Richter is marked only as a support, right? I'm not saying that other heroes can't play other lanes. I'm not saying that at all, especially about Severog, because then I'm sort of like backhanding what I'm trying to say here. But what I am saying is Richter is more than just a support character. He is an off-laner. And he has been in Paragon when it was known as Paragon, and he is in Predecessor. I don't know why they've only put him in support. He's a very viable off-laner, especially late game. Hopefully, as you'll see, I hope this is one of my good games. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, let me skip forward and show you guys some more sort of bad examples of why you should just stick to your lane regardless of whether you get it or not, and your role whether you get it or not. And then I'll show you some good examples.
He doesn't die again. I'm not helping him either.
No, don't. Even if it means that we end up throwing, like, just don't help him. He's in the wrong lane.
Okay, yeah, I'm not helping him.
So another point that I want to talk about here is our jungler was doing very well on helping me on my lane, because I was really struggling against this Zarus. So for those of you that don't know, this game is exactly like League. You've got all your lanes and stuff like that, but I'm very struggling against this Zarus. Our jungler hops out to help. However, I don't agree with this. He forced him under tower and then died to tower. Good trade-off, not a good trade-off. I don't know. I don't play jungle. It's I'm a simple human being. Jungle confuses me too much, and I feel like people rely on me too much, and it's easy to fuck up. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, this Predecessor. So you have an off laner, which is where I am at the moment on the right side of the map. You have a mid laner, who is Kale, who stays on the mid lane, and then you have your bottom lane and support. It's not called bottom on this though; it's called something else. And that is the left-hand side of the map, where you have 2v2s. In mid, you have your isolated 1v1s, maybe with a gank from a jungler, and you have isolated 1v1s on the off lane. Carry, that's what bottom's called, carry. And normally, you leave mid and top lane to have isolated 1v1s and sort themselves out, unless there is a jungler or you have a lane swap where somebody comes from a different lane. Let's say somebody comes from top lane into mid lane, and then top could also come down to mid lane to help to even the fight out. Does that make sense to everybody? And the jungler was doing very well. He was very much helping me in my fights. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that like, this guy isn't coming in and stealing my kills. He's genuinely helping me in a fight, and as you can see, I am a bad matchup against Zarus. Really struggling here. Also, if I had to pinpoint where this game went wrong, I would say it was about here, right? So we are 17 minutes into this game. We're losing by 2 kills. But to be fair, we've pushed up their towers pretty well, but they've pushed back as well. Nah, I would say it's an even match game right now. Neither of us have a camp. Towers seem fairly even, or thereabouts. And yeah, but this is where the game sort of went wrong. Revenant and Severog moved up to mid to try to kill Quang, who's their mid laner, and Chimera, who's their jungler. They all lost. 3 out of the 5 team members lost. And this is where the game goes then scuffed. And what I mean by scuffed is people aren't sticking to their lanes, people aren't pushing tower points, people aren't pushing camps, and people are purely focusing fighting. And I know there's a lot of people that are new to this game and new to this genre of games, but when you don't do that, this is when things get scuffed, especially when the other team can sort of flip it on your head, and can then take those camps, or can take those towers from you, which leave you at an overall disadvantage. So I would say this is probably the turning point of where things went bad, and it did go from bad to worse. Looking back at the footage, it just looks like a game, but being there and playing the match and being somebody who likes League and likes those sort of games, I can assure you it went from bad to worse, as I'm sure a lot of the fans of this style of game will probably agree with me on. So here we are on the good examples. Now, a good example is what we're going to show you. So me and Kale, we are bottom lane. I am support, I'm playing FaZe, he is playing Kira for carry, and we're going against a Twin Blast and a Richter. Now, I'm not saying that Richter should be removed from support totally, but you'll see in this clip why I think he was probably better played off lane, at least over support. So,
I've been here.
Not that he does a lot of damage to us this game. It's more we thrash him because he can't hit his hooks.
I won't.
And this isn't meant to be degrading or saying that the player that was playing that Richter was shit. I'm just simply stating that he couldn't hit his hooks, so he was punished for it. That's all I'm saying. So what you'll see is good examples here is isolation, and what I mean by that is I'm always supporting Kale. Kale's never supporting me. I will isolate the Richter or the Twin Blast. 9 times out of 10 it will be the support over the carry. I will isolate the support, he will deal with said support, I will then try to go straight on and isolate the carry, and we have a free lane. And you'll see this probably time and time again, especially early on. I'll push up and aggravate their support, try to draw some attention, and as soon as it's there, Kale will jump in and take over. I'm trying to line up this voiceover with an example, but if not, I'll just cut to it right now. So this is the example I was talking about. Richter's just missed his hook. I'm getting his attention while dealing damage. I then use my root ability to isolate him. Kale comes in and takes him out. I think Kale dies at this point, so I'm not as aggressive as I should be, and I've still got long cooldowns for only being 2.5 minutes into the game. But I'm still dealing damage, and I'm pushing their carry out. I'm pushing their carry away. I personally shouldn't be doing that, but that's my play style, and that's how I like to play. I like to teeter on the edge of death. Unfortunately, they're... yeah, see, that's what I mean. Kale almost had him there because I isolated him again, so he couldn't move. Unfortunately, their jungler was very good, and they did get a few hits on us later on in the game. But again, just a good example of how everybody should be playing. You can clearly see everybody's got their own lanes. I know it's early game, but everybody's got their own lanes. They're sticking to their own lanes. The jungler's roaming. He's looking for ganks and opportunities. And this is just a perfect example of how a game should run. And I also want to point out here what the roles are. So, obviously, I mentioned that there is support, jungler, carry, mid laner, off laner. But that's not entirely what they are. So, jungler's whole point is that he roams the full map, takes advantages of the camps and the buffs that are there, and then once he has those, he jumps in on fights that potentially we're struggling against, or they think that we're going to lose. And I don't mean lose fights as in you die. I mean they're going to get away. They're going to get under tower. Off lane, plain and simple. Keep to your lane. Push it up. Go and help late game. Mid laner, same thing. But you get stronger a lot earlier on. Carry. Now carry is sort of like a baby. It grows based on the nurture of the support and sort of the rest of the team. So if you've got a good support and they let you get the kills and the last hits on the bots, and they keep you alive, compared to the enemy carry, you will get built with your items from the shop, and you will get built in levels, and you will just be better. 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you that the carry has the highest amount of kills on a game. Maybe like 8 times out of 10, actually, thinking about it. Whereas if you don't have a decent support who's opening them up and allowing you to get those kills, or at least keeping you alive, like this support I'm playing here, FaZe, she's very much an isolation and attack sort of character. There are other types of supports. There are supports that literally just stun and heal and boost, such as Narbash, and there are other ones as well. But this is again just an example and sort of a rundown of how every lane is supposed to work. And just to fast forward a little bit, I've only really spoke about one example because I didn't have any other footage of good examples. But you can see that our jungler has went and captured 2 camps this game, and it's only 16 minutes in compared to the 17-minute game where we had 0 camps. You can see that we've pushed up bottom all the way to the enemy's inhibitor, which is a very big standing point in these games because it allows you to get stronger bots to attack. You can see here that Kale gets jumped by the jungler. And again, my sole job is not to kill the jungler, not to turn around and try to get the twin blast. My sole job is to keep this carry alive. So what do? I root, I stun, I blind, I root again. And Kale manages to live out with it. But they end up surrendering up here anyway. Kale's really fed in this game because of the opportunities that I've presented him and the opportunities that sort of have presented themselves to Kale as well when they've tried to stop him. I think he ended up being on like 19... No, not 19. Maybe it was like 13 kills or something. I don't know. I'm just here pissing the jungler off at this point. But this is a perfect example of how a game should go. Everybody stick to their lanes. Everybody did their job. And unfortunately, it just came down to who was better. And we came up on top on this one. You can see that Kale was literally just respawned and killed Morgash. Well, recalled and killed Morgash in mid lane. So you can see how easy games can be if you do your research and you know what lane you're supposed to be and what characters you can play in those lanes. This is a different type of video to what I would normally put out, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to know more about Predecessor or about the lanes or about characters, I'm honestly more than happy to put that out there. Or just maybe even content, you want to see videos or good plays or something. I'm more than happy to put it out there, guys. I just need to know. Like I said, it's in a closed beta at the moment, but it's now going into open beta, or will be going into open beta later on this year. They're currently updating it. They've got plans underway. They've got ranked systems in place, or like ranked systems to go in place and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Hit that notification icon so you know when all of my videos go live. It's completely free, means well to me, helps me out a ton. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see all of you and more over in the next one. Goodbye, guys.
I got to one point where I could use my dash ability. I used it straight away.